You view some recipes. We discuss recipes. You break right after the about 1 hour lecture. It's kind of like being in the lab kitchen at school. Plan your time that when you come to the lecture and the lecture break is over, you guys just go straight to your kitchen and your mise en place is already there. Like your stuff is lined up, it's ready, it's close by. And we stay on the line a couple more hours while you go into cooking your dishes. And then you have to upload photographs of the dishes and discuss what you did and some things like that. There's some knowledge checks in there and, things like that you got to do as well every week. I've been through online classes a lot like this and they were very good.
Like I said, that's new to me, so I have no clue, no idea. So
who's gonna taste all my perfection?
I guess for the
that's how great it was.
I guess you're like cringing and shaking your head might not be good, or like do some facial expressions. I don't know. Yeah, so I have no clue because I'm not doing any kind of kitchen live or anything like that next block, so I can't tell you what that entails.
I believe week 6, Monday, week 6 of this block, so it's like a week and a half from now. The classes will have an online schedule, like a Zoom schedule with their instructors, and the instructors will go through all the details. The one thing we are asked to make sure that you are reminded about, hopefully everybody's already on this, but apparently some are not. You gotta look for emails from the school, from Chef Robin and all that kind of stuff, because it's gonna pertain to the money that you need to get your things that you need for class and things like that. You gotta be reachable and you gotta be checking your email accounts and all that stuff.
Chef, you said it's gonna, money is gonna come through that bank, whatever that we set up?
Right, at least what I heard today is that the equipment money, and I think maybe the food budget too, if you're picking up your own food, I think that food budget could come through your through that account too. You'll have an option to pick up the food at the school or pick it up yourself, if I understand it right. Keep in mind they are going to finalize this too. In a couple of days they'll tell us exactly all of it, and then it is what it is at that point. But the money for an equipment and tools and stuff you got to buy, paper supplies and stuff, that's going to come through that special bank account. Keep forgetting what it's called.
So there you go. Well, that answers your question. Like I said, I don't know, so I'm not.
Sounds like this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to require everybody to pay careful attention to it so that you're able to do your class every week and all that. And you got to attend the lecture. You got to do your knowledge checks. Those knowledge checks are big in this class, and I think that they are. Why you got to be so negative, Mercedes?
I'm a realist, Chef. It's not negativity. I'm just a realist. It's not fun. I mean, we all signed up. I know this is our new normal, but we all signed up for that experience to be in the kitchen with you guys so we can get that immediate feedback. So no, it's not going to be fun, and I'm not going to call it anything other than what it is. It's not fun.
Right on. I feel you. I'd rather be in the kitchen myself for sure.
Yeah, I feel you too. Even though this is different for us, we're learning a new trade. All of us, I don't know if you guys have ever done an online class or not. I never done anything like this before, so it's learning the new techniques and new trades. So, whether it's fun or not, it's always learning from everything that you have, and as far as educational. So it's always learning aspect. So I
get that, Chef.
Huh?
But it's not the same.
I know.
Because I won't be able to get a quick demo from you when we're doing something new. I'll watch the video, but it won't be the same as if I were to have you or Chef Gary there actually showing from your perspective, your point of view, what has worked for you.
Right.
So it's, like I said, it's our new normal. I'm not enjoying it, and I'm not going to call it anything other than what it is.
It'll pass, and you know, I have fun flexing, turning the potato behind my back with you guys.
Exactly. We'll miss that fun experience.
And chopping those mushrooms with my eyes closed. You know, like Chef said, we'd rather be in the kitchen, but you know, fortunately not yet. So we'll be back, and hopefully we'll cross paths again. You know, like I said, I'm all over the place, 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 7 p.m., whatever. So whoever gets me or whoever crosses my path, you know, more power, and we'll go from there. If we get to meet paths again, Ms. Mercedes in the 6 a.m., awesome. If we don't, then you're gonna have different instructors to learn from. Same thing with you guys. When you guys go back to the actual kitchen, all this is over with. You know, we cross paths, yay. But if we don't, then you're gonna have a different instructor. Always learning. Always learning. Just blessed to be alive, right?
I gotta say, I feel blessed to be alive right now. It's a pretty weird time. You know, it's pretty weird. I don't know if you guys are experiencing this or not, but I go to the store. I try to go to the store very little now, and when I do, I got a really just good face mask that I made that's got a real tight, super tiny mesh filter, you know, inside, and it's all tied up, and I have a hat.
Show us what it looks like.
Huh?
Show us what it looks like.
Tell us what you look. It's made out of a bed sheet, and I sewed 4 strings on it, and I tied it over my face like I'm going to rob a bank or something. That's all.
Show us. Show us. You got to show us real quick.
I got mine coming in the mail. It has the LA Dodgers on it, and I have one of the LA Kings and the Raiders coming up. So
I'll show you later when we need some entertainment, right? But right now, what I'm wondering is, is anybody else feeling like I am? Like it feels really weird to go in the store knowing that, you know, there's stuff floating around that's making people very sick, and some people don't survive it and junk like that. Is anybody else feeling that?
No, I just go in there, like I'll go in there with my face mask like I'm required to, but I just sit there and laugh under my mask. Cause I mean, it's just, yes, especially when people walk in there with gloves, like
insane.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it's just go away. If you're that paranoid, go away.
Well, I'm not in the habit of judging other people's reactions. I mean, some people get paranoid about certain things, other folks not so much, you know. But I can just tell you that I know that a 106-year-old woman had coronavirus and survived it. And yet also, these are just examples out there, a 23-year-old young woman in extremely good health, an athlete with a super diet and everything, got it. She didn't survive it. So
I mean, the whole thing with the gloves, like you're touching everything with your gloves and then you're putting it up to your face, you know?
Sure, there are a lot of people that don't listen and think as carefully as you do. Yeah, and they might not be listening to, you know, scientists and doctors and nurses and stuff telling you how to proceed on radio or internet or wherever they get their news and stuff. They just may be like kind of not really paying attention, you know.
All right, guys, before we go any further, I want to touch bases with you guys. We're going to be talking about purchasing, receiving, and storing, procurement, pretty much the kitchen floor of your products. We talked about menus yesterday. We'll be talking about what else tomorrow, different kinds of services, table service, side service, American, French, Russian. But before we go into today, I want to see where we're at with your project. I know at the beginning I was talking to Ms. Tia about her menu. I gave her quite extensive feedback on her menu about each item. I think I gave you guys some feedback too, Ms. Aubrey, Ms. Caitlin, Ms. Hannah, Ms. Mercedes. I think I gave you feedback too, right, Ms. Mercedes? On your menu project. If that's the one you're going to use, then go ahead and start making it more than just what it is now. Try to finish it as much as possible. This is Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. You got a few more days before you can move on to the next project. And the next one is going to be the recipe cost cards. And again, I can emphasize that's going to be the bulk of the labor going into your project. How to cost everything out, item by item, ounce by ounce, you name it. So that's going to be $dollar by dollar, penny by penny. That's going to be the bulk of the project coming up next week. So if you have submitted your menu, if we give you guys notes, go ahead and take those and, you know, go ahead and work on those as much as you can. Definitely on week 6, you know, we'll have some lecture, but maybe we'll scale it back and let you guys finish the project live while we watching you guys how you when you guys share the project with us, where you at and how you're costing it and how you're wording it, so we can guide you along the way. I know, Nick, you say you have your project done, right? Your menu?
Yes.
So share it so we can take a look at it. Daniel Rodriguez, I know I have not seen your menu. Chef Gary has seen your menu. I haven't looked at it yet. Who else? I know T.I. just gave you feedback today, or this morning. Who else have we given feedback yet to? James, definitely, right?
I just need to work on my end. But I told you it's the desserts that get me, because I'm not a sweets person, so okay. That's what's getting me. But you did make me want to throw the whole menu away, Chef. You made me feel really bad about it.
No, it's not. It's not throw the menu away. It's you gotta take a look at your menu. The menu should be what you're trying to sell, and you should describe the items on the menu. So when the people sit down and at your table in your restaurant, they should look at the menu. They should be able to read it and almost salivate at that food they're reading. How you describing it? Succulent, fresh, tender, organic, free range, reduction, glaze. Those keywords that go into describing what you're making. I know I shared with you guys a couple of items last couple of days on the screen. I did share with Ms. Mercedes a vegan menu. If you guys would like me to share with all of you guys, I can share with you. Just don't go try to edit it, because it will prompt an access request from the student that created that menu. Okay, so I can share that with you guys. You can take a look at it, see how it was done, how it was made, the wording, the placement of the menu, the prices, even the logo that was in it, and the name and the color schemes that went alongside with it. You don't have to follow that, but that just kind of gives you like a base idea how to create your menu.
Okay. I'm going to work on that last one this weekend, a bunch of different sauces to see how it comes out. Because I've never did anything to the actual mushroom itself, aside from just season it. And then you start throwing all these other words on there, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm just sorry. I'm just going to start all over again. But, I mean, my menu was great. These are not foods that I made up. These are foods that I've actually made before. So I know that they taste good. So I had to find names for them, because normally I just tell people it's some shit I threw together. And then, so the names, and then that last recipe, that last item is the one that I'm worried about the most, because I'm going to have to figure out how to make that mushroom have a flavor to it other than just a mushroom. To make it a chicken, you know, like you said, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh. And even the last one, the Monterey chicken, yeah, that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
So when I looked at it, mind if I share with the class?
I don't care.
All right. So, guys, this is what we're talking about. So as we go along, you guys not alone as trying to figure out your menu item and how to better describe it. This is Ms. Diaz's menu right here, okay? The bottom one says Monterey quote and unquote chicken, okay? She has large portobello cap grilled, topped with the Monterey cheese, house sauce, served with the cauliflower and potato puree, $17, vegan. Okay, so look at it, and my note I wrote down, Monterey quote and unquote chicken, trying to figure out where the chicken part on the dish, even though there's not a chicken dish, maybe the chicken style, like chicken fried steak. What kind of style is it? Maybe a chimichurri marinated large portobello mushroom cap grilled and the top of the Monterey Jack cheese house sauce. Maybe served with organic purple or green cauliflower, golden yucca potato puree.
Tia, sorry, Chef, I didn't want to forget it before I said it. If you're trying to make it taste like a chicken, you could like use some kind of chicken stock in whatever cheese sauce you're about to make, you know,
but it's vegan. You
I
can't.
do.
Oh, you can't. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't see the vegan. That was my bad.
So those are the kind of the challenges that we're coming across as you write in the menu. And the reason I'm telling you guys to start now, so by next week, when you guys share the menus, we can go back, look at it, and give you some feedback. You can go back and adjust it. So when your menu is finally done, it's an actual written menu that you can produce. And when I look at it, read it, it's going to make me want to buy and order those 3 products. You want one starter, one main, and one dessert off your menu. Even if you have a beverage, I want to be able to say, hey, that is awesome. And so if you can make us want to purchase 3 items off your menu, you have a good menu. Okay. So the feedback that we're giving you guys is not to shut you down, not to be negative or nothing like that. Is to help you guys navigate and word it correctly, or word it even better, or enhance it. Still keeping the same, say your same concept, your same idea, but elevate a little bit higher. Okay. So
Chef,
yes.
I just sent mine to you right now. I sent the rough draft because I'm still trying to get the final draft in Canva.
Okay.
But just want to know if you got it or not.
I got it. So just by a quick glance on it, it's quite extensive. That's great. You got the prices, but just got to put it in the menu format from the website. Your logo, your borders, your colors, the scheme, maybe some pictures, and make it a menu.
Me?
Okay. No, not you, Nick.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you too. You got to put it. Yeah, you got to actually make it into a menu. I mean, the menus, the items are there, but you got to transfer the information to the website, Canva, so post them on wall, and make it into a menu format.
Okay. I mean,
yeah.
some people sticky
Yes.
notes and send it away, whatever.
Should we include our logo on our menu, or? Okay, I got to figure out a place for my logo then.
So when you create your menu, you have the colors, you have the borders, you have your logo. I would definitely include the little icon picture of Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat on your menus, on your page. And if you want to include your name on the bottom with a little small bio of yourself on the menu, like you saw yesterday, the crazy erratic video that I shared with you, the last one I created, go ahead. Put a little something about yourself on the bottom of the menu, right next to or along the lines with, or next to or somewhere below, consumption of raw meats, so forth, so on, and because, whatever that wording is. Consumption of raw meat or shellfish may be harmful to your health. A little disclaimer, somewhere along the lines, maybe, put a little snippet about yourself, a little bio. Tell them people what your background is, where you come from, and what kind of style and flavors you are offering to the public. It's not like a history of restaurant, but something that tells them something about yourself. Sell yourself to the.
We're putting this on the menu?
Yeah, on the bottom.
It could be on the back. It could be at the bottom of the menu. Sure.
A suggestion, instead of having like a little history about each item, each entree, or the restaurant, the building, what about something about yourself, a little bio?
So, for example, you might say, Mercedes, cooked in Italy and Germany and northern France, and grew up such and such place, and so these experiences bring her to focus on the kind of cuisine she does today. Blah. It'd be short. It'd tell something about you. It would explain a little bit about where you're coming from and why you cook like you do. Doesn't have to be a big long autobiography or anything like that.
Yeah, sure.
It's not your resume, just a little snippet about your culinary history, where you've been, and so they can make that connection why you're offering the things you are, because they can see where you've been and what your passion is, what kind of style, what kind of food you have.
So on mine, Chef, should I include I guess in this little bio thing that you guys are talking about, should I include why all the names are as weird as they are? Is it's based off of people that I've played games with in the past and made a connection with?
You could.
That could be done.
Yeah.
Anything like that you do, you want to say it clear, that they understand what you're trying to say, and at the same time say it short. And it ought to sound like you're happy to say it, like it's a fun thing for you to be able to share that fact. And how
Okay.
you can make that come through in your writing, if you think about it, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely that would be a big plus. And again, I'm just, giving guys some ideas so you can be marketable. Somebody wants to take a copy of the menu home. That's even better. Let them have a copy. That way they can share with friends. Oh, they're going to come in, they're going to see, they're going to ask them where they ate, what they ate, so they can, you can tell them, oh, well, here, I got the menu. Look, so this is where I went to eat. And they're going to read the bottom of your little bio, where you come from and what you have to offer. And then the word's going to spread out. Again, it's internal advertising. So I would do that, okay? Definitely that, and like I said, the little icon picture of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and so forth, so on. So people that come and eat, they can look you up on the social media. It's free advertising, free, not to pay money, right? So those are some of the ideas, guys, that floating around for you guys to grasp on and grab it and move on, and then be more successful. Because the more you advertise, the more money is going to come in through your front door. And hopefully the less you'll spend out the back door. So yeah.
We got a question.
Yes.
So can I use my old schedule template? Like, cause it already has, it adds everything up for me already.
Yes, you can.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Have a great day.
As long as it has all the labor dollars, and as long as it has your projected sales for the week and your labor percentages, go for it.
All right, that works for me.
So just some ideas, guys. Anybody worked in the menus yesterday or today's morning at all?
Yes, chef, I did. I just didn't share it yet. I sent it to, I sent a text to Chef Gary to kind of see if I was going on the right lines.
You did? Did I respond to that?
Yeah, you said it. You liked the colors and the logo. And I told you I hadn't put my food on there yet.
Oh, that wasn't today though.
Yeah, I just sent that like before class or while we were on class. And then you said,
okay.
So anyways, guys, just trying to get you guys to, you didn't? Okay, I'll send them again. I'll email blast all of you guys that menu that I was sharing with you guys so you guys can take a look at it, how to go about it, and use it as a base idea, nothing they can copy and so forth, so on. So yeah, so menus. Today is Thursday, tomorrow's Friday and Saturday, and then the next week is week 5, and then we begin the daunting task of costing the whole entire kit and caboodle, okay? And then tomorrow we'll be talking about service. So I got a couple of things to share with you guys on that part. Not strictly in a freestyle restaurant, how to train the servers, but maybe some guidelines, some SOPs on front of the house, how to set up a buffet, how to do cash registers, and stuff like that. Okay. So a lot more stuff in my bag of goodies. 36 years and counting, right? Right, Dre?
You already know, Chef.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Let's go talk about today. Purchasing, receiving, right? Procurement, right? Or is it called securing? Procurement, right? Means purchasing, receiving, storage, and inventory control. Why are those so important? Purchasing.
The full cycle of when it shows up to your door to storing it and having responsibility over it and making sure that it's properly going out and not walking away, or what's getting damaged before it makes it to the line or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whole record's sake of things.
So what should happen before you start purchasing?
Inventory.
Inventory. What else?
Do you mean before you buy anything for the restaurant at all, like before you open? When
It
you
can be both ways. Yeah, before you open.
Make sure you get your stuff from a good source.
Yes.
Check prices.
Have a
Money.
purchase order
Entire week.
or a guide, so you know exactly what you need, what goes with each dish. So you're ordering the right amount of everything that you need to be able to make your dishes.
So with purchasing, what I would do if I was starting a new restaurant, we'll definitely take a look at the menu. Break everything down, item by item, list by list, from the dairies to the produce, meat, freezer, seafood, poultry, dry storage, beverages. Break it all apart, and then do a grocery list of the things that will be needed to produce that menu, alongside things that are not included in the recipe, like fry oil. What else? Pan spray. Certain other ingredients that you may not be thinking about that you will need on your menu. Definitely break it down. Maybe add a couple more items. Maybe a couple more spices, and then start looking at your vendors, okay, and tell them, this is what I'm looking for. And they will send you a grocery list according to what they have. Sometimes they send you pretty much the whole inventory, the warehouse, depending on the size. You are going to take a look at that inventory, and you are going to build your own grocery list off that inventory and figure out what prices are best for you from that vendor. You're going to compare to your next one and next one. You're going to compare maybe 3 or 4 vendors, and which one you're going to go with the best one to get your best prices for your menu. Remember, I shared with you guys the meats, right? And then I showed you guys too the Jake's, Gordon Foods and Cisco, which has the best pricing per pound. So you're gonna have to compare apples to apples. Which vendor is going to give you the better pricing, the better delivery times, how many times, the better discounts, coupons, and the better rebates. From there, then you can go ahead and start building your storage units, your freezer, your cooler, your dry storage, your chemicals, and start allocating everything, your mental shelves, start maybe labeling them out, so when you get your first drop, you know exactly where that product is going to go, okay? From A to C, maybe alphabetically, maybe, I don't know, whatever system you want to use, and keep that consistent. So when you have that, then you can start building your shelf-to-sheet inventory / order guides, okay? As your menu continues to grow, you're adding more product to your order guide, you're adding more product to your inventory, you're expanding your shelf-to-sheet, right? Goes with receiving. You got to put it away properly as soon as it comes in the door. You cannot have that case of fresh raw chicken sitting in the middle of the kitchen when it's about 110 degrees, collecting, multiplying salmonella every minute that passes by. As soon as it comes in, maybe you indicate to the driver certain items go in that cooler, certain items go here. So when it delivers, it just doesn't deliver right smack in the middle of the kitchen, because if they do, you might be busy, you might be in production, and that pallet or the dolly with a whole bunch of boxes and cases is going to be in your way. So as soon as it comes in, go ahead and guide them, tell them where to put it, and you can start putting it properly, storing away. And remember, go back to foundations. Dry goods, any kind of goods in the kitchen should be kept 6 inches above the floor. Do you guys know the reason why on that one? Why?
Heat rises.
What?
The heat on the floor, heat rises.
No.
No.
Because of rats, isn't it? You don't want any rats or any little animals to get inside the boxes and stuff.
Rodents.
I have to tell you right now, 6 inches above the floor is not going to prevent any rat ever.
Obviously, you don't get the box or whatever container saturated.
It's to deter the rodents from getting to your case of goods. Not eliminating, get rid of them, but also if you put something against the wall that is on the floor, rats have poor eyesight. They guide themselves through with their whiskers. So if you put a box next to your back dock door, rats are going to come in. The first thing, they're going to turn that corner because they're going to be guiding themselves in the feeling of that wall. that base oil, and they're going to come into a cardboard box, they're going to bite into it, they're going to get into whatever it has. That's one. But the second reason is because what if you spill a chemical on the floor? You can't clean it if it's not 6 inches off the floor. And it is hard to sweep and mop under the rack if Metro Shelf is not 6 inches off the floor. Imagine if something's at 1 inch, 2 inches off the floor. You're not going to be able to get that mop and or broom to sweep it behind it unless you move the whole entire thing out of there. And then more dust and more crisps are going to collect. So there's a lot of reasons why they should be 6 inches off the floor. And that's one of them, to prevent critters from getting into the boxes. And inventory control. Again, when you purchase, after you figure out what you need for your menu, where everything's going to go, you go ahead and do the your price comparison. You place the order online. You receive it at a certain time, but make sure you're there. Do your diligent duty. Make sure you check that invoice, what came in, open that box. Make sure if it's chicken tenders, it is not random chicken. Otherwise, you're going to be screwed. Make sure that if you order 20 pounds of fresh ahi tuna, make sure you take that tuna out of the box with ice, get that tuna and put it on the scale. Make sure that tuna weighs 20 pounds, not the whole entire box, because then they're going to be charging you for that ice and that styrofoam and the cardboard packaging. And what you should be paying is for that tuna, not for the packaging, okay? So make sure you have a scale to receive the products that are high dollar and check them against your invoice. Then you can go ahead and put them away and then, you know, process the invoice and get it paid. But yeah, definitely inventory control. Take inventory, set up the inventory, and, you know, keep track of what you have. I can tell you that every kitchen that I worked at, I used to have a game with my cooks. I had a game with them, and they hated to go in the freezer, especially the one in Langston University. It was the size of K1, K2, K5, and Escoffier. That's how big the freezer was. So imagine the cooks hated to go in there because it was -3, -10 degrees with the fans blowing. So whenever they run out of something, they go in the freezer and they will come back shivering. I can't find this. I'm gonna put it in 86. I'm like, I said, I'm gonna give you one more chance. You go in there, look for it, and if you can't find it, I'm gonna give you a second chance. The third time, if you can't find it, I'm gonna go in there. If I find it, you owe me a 6-pack. I didn't say what kind of 6-pack. 6-pack of milk, juice, Gatorade, whatever. And sure enough, the product was there, but you know, they hated to go in the freezer because I knew where everything was at, because I was taking inventory. I had my shelter sheet. I knew exactly where and what part of the freezer or dry storage, cooler, dairy, where everything was at. So when I give you guys, you know, when I share with you guys the inventories, when you're looking for something, I can pretty much tell you where on that inventory is that item on the spreadsheet. I can tell you, oh, it's in the bottom, it's in the middle, it's on the top, it's in the freezer, it's right in the chickens. Because again, I know where everything's at. I got my hands on it, my eyes out on it, and you know, sometimes most of the time I was the one putting it away, so I knew exactly where those items were kept. Okay, so inventory control. Keep everything the same. Don't change them. If they do, go back and fix it. So you know when it comes to take inventory, you'll know exactly what it is. You can count it for what it is. Okay. Restaurant food purchasing. Okay. Food purchasing for any restaurant, especially for new established restaurant, is very complex and intricate factory. Basically, it is a subsystem which has to be integrated and operated as part of the whole operational system. Purchasing and receiving of food items like meat, produce, groceries, bakery and dairy products, seafood and burgers require a complete system. You have to have your I's dotted and T crossed, and you have to be very, pardon my French, anal retentive when it comes to purchasing, okay? Procuring fresh and quality products with the proper receiving, storage, issuing, consumption, and then reordering requires well-established procedure and close monitoring. It is crucial to accurately define market prices. The best tactics to accomplish this objective is to negotiate long-term contract, annually if possible, at a fixed cost with downside protection where you can get it. Suppliers for some of the perishable items and groceries may be invited to bid on a range of items for a week or month. This allows the restaurant to control the process. And again, you have to do your due diligence. You have to compare apples to apples. Which one is the best price and how fast can you get into your restaurant? With purchasing, you know, purchasing, it's a Monday through Friday job. If big cities, San Francisco, LA, Houston, Dallas, Chicago, New York, St. Louis, what are the big cities? Twin Cities, Minnesota, those cities that have large hotels, Las Vegas, they purchasing and receiving can make up to $65,000, $70,000 a year as a purchasing manager. with an assistant and a slew of receiving clerks, because there's a lot of money coming through those back docks once everything's lifted. A lot of money and a lot of product coming in. So they have to have their own system and their own staffing guidelines and staffing. Aside from the restaurant, aside from the dishwasher, aside from the servers, they're their own entity. And they are going to be the second most important part of the operation, because in purchasing, receiving, if you don't have nobody in there with you, helping you out, you're going to spend a lot of time answering phone calls from your sales reps, taking a look at the prices, updating your sheets, updating your inventory, what's best, what's not, are they out, they're going to substitute it. You're going to have to do a will call, go pick it up. You're going to have to do an off-day delivery. So there's a lot that goes into purchasing, receiving, and it's not that easy as it may sound. It can be done, but you're going to be stretched out very thin because you have a lot of things to worry about. What are the things that you're going to be responsible for that's going to cost you a lot of money in the restaurant, aside from purchasing and receiving?
Can you say that again, Chef?
What other responsibilities are important, more important, or as important as purchasing and receiving that you're going to have to control the cost?
Your labor costs.
Yeah.
Labor and food costs, waste over production, right?
Yeah.
Purchasing and receiving may take about 2 hours out of your day on a daily basis. 2 hours that you're away from your kitchen line staff, that they're overproducing, they're putting a lot more pasta on the dish. That server is ordering food with no ticket. That food is coming back. The grill cook is burning the steak. Or somebody's idle, not being productive. Or somebody's coming in earlier or leaving earlier or taking too many long breaks. So your time may be distracted from your kitchen routine into purchasing, receiving. I can tell you, I used to spend about, maybe 30, 40 minutes, depending on the size of the operation, taking my daily walks and my daily inventory before I place the order, and another maybe an hour or so to place the order before cutoff time. So it's about a 3-hour process twice a week to get things done. And when the product was coming, it was about a 4-hour, depending on the drop, about a 4-hour event, putting the food away, checking it in, and then processing the invoices. So 8 hours a week and putting it away, and about 8 hours, maybe 6 hours in doing the order guide and then placing the order online. It takes time, guys. So if you have somebody, if you can afford somebody to handle this for you, more power to you. Aside from that, you're going to be stretched out thin. That's why in the kitchens, we tend to work more than 8 hours a day, because 8 hours a day is, for us, is a half a day. You as the owner, 8 hours a day is going to be like half a day work. So hire somebody to help you lighten the load. Purchasing and receiving, it's a different animal, and it should be taken in great consideration in great detail. You should have all your SOPs, JSAs, everything should be, so you should not deviate from this system. Very, very important. I can express to you guys how important purchasing and receiving is, guys. Very important.
Yeah, Chef, and it's great if you have the luxury for production and everything. If somebody else can, whoops, sorry. Chef, it's great if you have the luxury, the labor dollars to have someone do that purchasing. A lot of chefs don't really want to let that purchasing go out of their own hands unless it's somebody who's a qualified purchaser and can really focus full times on it, because just it'd be a mistake to think you can just put anybody back there. They need some serious training. They need to be skillful in buying and receiving, and they need to kind of know what the tricks of the business are, what tricks have been tried on people, and they need to really have the idea of kind of managing that food and making sure it's coming in right, getting put up right, being stored, being put out right, being protected and controlled while it's in the premises. It's a big job, so a lot of chefs would be happy to have someone doing that job. At the same time, even if they're able to hire someone, they still want to know that it's being done right back there, right? And the other thing that I want to share real quick is it's tempting sometimes. People come in your back door or somehow get to you and they're selling. They got some new product that you just got to have. Oh, you haven't tried our rolls. You haven't tried our cheesecake and stuff. And one thing I learned about that is after you've been at it for a while and you're buying products, you're looking at good new products to suit you as your menu needs come up. You have a pretty good on handle on what's the best stuff out there and the best prices or the prices you want to pay. So agreeing to meet some sales rep with a new product line at 2:15 on a Tuesday afternoon, it all sounds like, oh, I'm a big shot. I get to meet with somebody who's trying to sell me something. Guess what? You don't have time. You know, when you need a product, you'll search it out. You might go to your regular rep and say, what do you got that you can show me on this? Check another rep or whatever. But just somebody coming in off the street cold calling saying, I got this great product. Yeah, I'm sure you do, but I got a lot of great products already available to me, and I really don't know if I can spend an hour and a half with you on a Tuesday tasting bread. Seriously. Yeah.
Also, purchase should be on your radar at all times, because that is money that is coming out of your pocket, money that is being spent on products. And when you get it in, those invoices need to be properly processed. And again, I go to the fast food, the food tracker, okay? Because you're gonna have to log in those invoices and figure out how much money you're spending a day or week in products, and then divide those by your sales to figure out what your food cost is running at on a daily, weekly basis. So very imperative to make sure that, you know, you get a handle and you own that purchasing and receiving system. And like the chef said, if you're going to train somebody, make sure that they're trustworthy and you train them rigorously so they don't deviate and they keep everything on track. Very important shipping and receiving, guys. So standards for food are set, preferably in writing before a restaurant opens. The amounts to purchase are based on forecasts of sales, which admittedly is a guess since there is no sales history. Your previous experience with a similar kind of restaurant is most helpful and valuable. So you're going to build history as you open up. You're not going to have any idea how much product you're going to sell the first day. You can probably estimate or guess, according to your menu, the research that you have done, which items going to be your stars and your plow horses on your menu. But as the days and weeks go by, those items, they're going to have a different graph on the demographics of which ones you're going to sell, which ones you're not going to sell. And then from there, you can start building your partables accordingly. You don't want to come into a Friday night and then your plow horse or your stars, you already don't have the product in the house. And then you're going to have to 86 it. And, you know, the customer is going to complain because that's their favorite, or that's the one that you're going to sell the most, and you don't have it in the house. You can't produce it. You might be forced to run, go make a run to Sam's, Costco, or H-E-B or Walmart. It's going to cost you a lot more money, and it might be not the same quality as you would like to have. So as you build history, keep that in mind. You can adjust your part levels as you go. Purveyors, suppliers are contacted. Issues like quality of the product, competitive price, time of delivery, mode and time of payment, and return policy are discussed and agreed upon. Credits are established. Food is received and stored. With an operation, part stocks a reasonable amount to have on hand, and reorder points. A point that indicates more should be ordered and are established. So once you have everything done, then you're going to have, you know, the credit established, food received, and then your par stock is going to be building with history. So you got to have history. You got to keep that everything on check so you can go back. Oh yeah, well, you know, last Thanksgiving I ordered 50 turkeys, whole turkeys, and maybe 20 whole turkey breasts, 2 in a pack. Maybe this year with the reservation went up, I'm going to order maybe 60 turkeys and maybe 30 turkey breasts deboned, so I can, you know, be able to sustain the amount of people coming in. So use that history to your advantage, but don't lose it. Okay. Inventory control procedures are important for reducing management costs and potential hazard associated with excess, off specs, and expired material. So inventory. I walked into a property and I took over it. And it took about a month to clean the entire kitchen, and because I was, you know, in charge of a lot of things. I don't know, 13, 14, 16 hours a day and what have you not. And then, you know, was training the staff, going over the menus, attending meetings and what have you not. There was no systems in place, no shelter sheet, no order guide. It was, everything was done by phone call. Hey, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. From the previous predecessor, it was a nightmare.
Hey, Chef, we're out of 17 items right now.
Can Can you imagine having an inventory of about $35,000 and maybe a sales about maybe 200,000 a month, and everything's done over the phone? You're not looking at that price on the online order guide. You don't know what to order because you can't retain all the information. You don't have nothing written down. So when I took over this property back in 2015, that's the place that I had shared the menu with you guys. I took over the property, and it took me about a month to get everything up to running a running system. That means shelf to sheet. That means cleaning the coolers, reorganizing everything, scrubbing the walls from the dishwasher, my line cooks. Every single part had to be redone. So once I got my last cooler that needed to be organized and clean, I was walking into this main cooler to get to the freezer. That's the only way I could get to the freezer. Walk to the main cooler, come out of the door, because I had two doors, come out to the back door, go to the little shipping and receiving area. I go in my dairy cooler, meat in their freezer, and dry storage, and come back right to the same cooler. Well, that cooler was the last one for me to clean. Every time I would pass by it, for a month, I saw this 2-inch span with what it looked like a piece of corned beef. What it looked like, a piece of corned beef. That's how bad my predecessor and people there had not taken inventory. So once I got to the cooler, can you guys take a wild guess what that was in the pan? Because it was not corned beef.
Tuna.
No.
Tuna loin, no?
It would have stunk like a son of a.
It was in the cooler, not the freezer?
It was in the cooler. It was wrapped with saran wrap.
It was mold.
It was definitely moldy, but it looked like a piece of corned beef.
Dookie.
Is it a corn dog?
It looked like a 5 to 15 pound piece of corned beef. That's what the shape resembled, but it wasn't that.
Somebody took a shit.
Could have been anything.
It was a half of peel sliced watermelon. The bus had grown
You're
so
dry
big,
aging it.
it took a pink, huge color to it, and it looked like the wavy side of a piece of corned beef. That's how bad my predecessor was not in control of the products, and no inventory was done the appropriate way. So inventory.
Did you make a sportsel and sell it? Sandwiches?
I think I threw away about $3,000 worth of product. $3,000 worth of product because it was not properly stored, taken care of. It was beyond saving.
Yeah.
So inventory, very important, guys. Okay, gotta have control of that inventory. Okay. So what is inventory or stock? Inventory or stock is the amount of goods or materials that a restaurant bakery has in storage to sell customers or to create stable goods. Inventory or stock. Okay. Three types of inventory or stock. First is you have your raw material inventory, work in progress, and finished good inventories. Can somebody give me an idea of the difference of all those three? What's the number one? What can be number one?
Uncooked stuff, like uncooked rice. Eggs.
Yeah.
Package of like shredded cheese or something.
Okay. What about the other one? Work in progress. Anybody? Work in progress inventory.
Something you par cook, like something you par cooked or whatever the term is. Something that you might have blanched and then put in the refrigerator ready for service. That's like halfway cooked.
Okay.
How about some stock, Chef? How about 10 gallons of chicken stock? It's not something to serve yet, but it's not exactly raw chicken bones in the freezer. It's in progress, right?
Yep.
That or roux?
Can you have a number? Can you have a dollar amount for how much a gallon of stock costs so you can put it on your inventory if you choose to do it that way, you guys?
What about your finished goods inventory? What's all that about?
trying to answer. I don't think they can hear.
I'm sold.
Quiet. I can hear a cricket.
Maybe like salad you prep so that you're just like ready to eat stuff.
I've tried to answer like 3 times.
I know you guys do. I wanted to hear from the people in the back. Mallory, Aubrey, Yosi, Caitlin. Yeah. Nick, Daniel Rodriguez. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna give you some examples. Raw material. Your food truck, Cisco just arrived your back dock. That is raw material. Okay, that is raw material. Your flour in a sack, that's raw material. Your rice in a bag, in a box, that's raw material. Your salt that is in a sealed box, that's raw material. Your cases of French fries that have not been opened, that's raw material. Work in progress, it's everything is on your line. Okay, raw material could be a case of strip loins, maybe 50 pounds of strip loins, case of butter. Work in progress is all your steaks that are already cut, ready for service in your grill station. Your ranch dressing that is in your salad station. Your calamari that is in your fry station. What else? Your mixed greens. Your cheesecake that it's halfway gone because you sold it. That's work in progress inventory. Finished good inventory is your pastries, your sliced fruit tray that has been cut, sliced, rearranged, and put on the platter, saran wrap, and is ready for the morning breakfast. Your muffins, your danishes, that is finished good inventory. Like Chef Gary said, you can put a dollar amount, an estimate dollar amount, and go take a look at a finished fruit tray. Figure, okay, that's $5. And you know, in inventory, you can have sliced fruit tray, $5. How many? Maybe 10, 5, 6 fruit trays, and you can count that in your inventory. So those are the 3 different ones. Raw material has not been broken into, is still sealed in original packaging. Work in progress is what has been prepared for service, and finished good inventory is what it's about to go to the customer. Okay, that is ready to go out and be sold. In the kitchen, you have to count everything. Every single piece of inventory has to be counted. That's how you figure out your monthly P&L statement. Your monthly P&L statement is, again, that system that tells you if you're walking away a month with $20,000 in your pocket, or $16,000 or $30,000. Okay, that's how much it's going to tell you how much you're taking home for being the owner of the property. Okay. So again, what is raw material? Raw material is inventory. Raw materials inventory is the material used to create a good. It is not sellable. It is input for work in progress inventory. Okay, said eggs, flour, butter, right? Work in progress inventory. This is the complete good that is in the process of completion. It is not sellable. It is input for finished goods. Your muffin batter, your cake batter, your cut steaks, your ranch dressing, your pre-grilled chicken for the banquet event next day. What is finished goods? Finished goods are the completed final goods. It is sold to the consumer. It is a sellable product. Again, just give you an example. Your cakes, your muffins, your coffee cake, your cornbread that you guys made, your flour tortillas, your corn tortillas, anything that you made that is ready to rock and roll, that is a finished good. Okay.
Do you consider clarified butter raw material or work in progress?
Work in progress. So work in progress, I will consider that, and I will count it as in pounds too, not in gallons. Even though it is liquid form, if you take 2 pounds of whole butter to make clarified butter, but you haven't touched it, that still counts as 2 pounds of whole butter, even though it's melted and it's clarified. What is stock management? Inventory of stock management is the establishment and maintenance of optimal levels of stock for a business. Properly maintain adequate stocks to ensure uninterrupted service. Okay, that means you have a perpetual inventory, so you guys won't be selling out of products. You have it, and you get to sell it. Stock management ensures availability for ingredients when needed, avoids the use of expired inventory, minimizes waste. Okay, minimizes waste. Okay, that means your salts, your flours, your oils. What else? Stuff that has a longer shelf life. Your
Spices.
Yep, that is stock management. Managing your stock levels. Successful inventory management ensures there is neither glut nor lack of stock, that the right level of stock is maintained. Okay, that means you're going to have par levels. If you have salt in your order guide, and if you're sitting on 6 boxes of salt, a case comes in 12 1-pound box of salt. You're sitting on 6. Keep it as is. Don't order more, because you're going to inflate your inventory. You're going to overspend, because you're not going to burn through that 6 pounds of salt within a week, unless you're doing a high production, large banquet events, or even a bakery, or maybe some curing or smoking. Then you're going to burn through that salt. But if you're not, don't buy another case of salt. You have enough to get you, sustain you until the next drop. What is the right level of stock? This will be low enough to minimize the cost of holding stock, but at the same time, high enough to facilitate continuous production and business activity. Make sure you have enough vinegars, enough oils, enough salt, your flours, cornstarch, your rice, your staples. Again, they have longer shelf life, syrup, those sort of things. Okay. Effects of the wrong stock levels: too much stock. Storage costs may be very high. Occupy space in the premises, which can be used in more production ways. Unsold stock if there is a change in demand or increase in competition in the market. The business also runs the risk of theft.
Chef, you got so many tenderloins in there all the time. You got, I don't know, you must have 200 tenderloins inside Cryovac. 4 of them to a package, and he ain't even leaking. I can stick them in my coat pocket and slide out there in the back in the wintertime. You don't even know. I've been doing it to you for 6 weeks. Ha, I'm gone.
Right? There's one. There you go. Now you want several tenderloins walking down the back dog. You're not going to be able to notice them, because you will have too much in your inventory. Also, too, if you have too much in inventory in the freezer, might get freezer burn, and the quality is going to go down. You're not going to be able to sell it for the same quality product you wanted on your menu. Or if you have it in your produce cooler, it's going to go bad. I've seen spinach, I've seen lettuces, I've seen tomatoes that end up being in the trash. If we can't catch them beforehand, make a sauce, make a salsa, or make something out of them, they're going to go straight to the trash. That's $22 a case of lettuce and down the drain.
Here's the thing, Chef. When I was a cook a long time ago, we had this place. We were cutting our own fresh veal leg. We've gone through so much veal. We're cutting like a leg a week, maybe even 2 legs a week. We're making lots and lots of scallopinis, cutlets, veal parmigianas, stuff like this. And so there's always little tips, flaps, tri-tips, stew meat pieces, trim you take off. And we're always putting in one more little Cryovac full of 2, 3, 4 pounds, 5 pounds of veal scraps, and boom, boom, boom. 4 or 5 weeks we had, 100 pounds of veal scraps in there. That is work in progress, kind of, because we paid for it, we cut it up, we used some. Some is still there usable, but there it sits. And if we keep it too long, it's going to die, right? So we started making a little stew, like a veal marengo, and we kind of did a stroganoff. It wasn't technically correct, but our customers didn't know that. Brown stock, a little roux, a little brown stock, onions, garlic, red wine, mushrooms. And we moved, 100 pounds of veal out in about 2.5, 3 weeks, just by 3-4 times a week doing some kind of little special with veal. And so there was probably, I'm going to guess, there's 100 pounds of veal. In those days, it was probably about $1,000 worth of veal tips just sitting in the small reach-in freezer that was going to go bad if we didn't do that. Made a lot of money out of it. Got our money back from it and made money, I should say. Yeah.
That is money, guys. You cannot throw it away. You got to make something with it. And again, the wrong effects of the wrong stock levels can cost you a lot of money, because you're running out of real estate property. You had too much stuff in your house, and then before you know it, when you order the product, you're gonna be able to store it. You're gonna use those plastic milk crates to put them on the floor, and then put everything on top. How the product pops in, they're gonna gig you on that, because it's not a a food serve certified a metro shelf or rack to store food on it. Those plastic milk crates are not for storing food off the floor. You can't sweep underneath them. You can't mop underneath him, and critters can get back in there with ease. So always have a good flow of your inventories. Too little stock. If there's not enough stock, the business may not be able to facilitate an unexpected increase in demand. If deliveries are delayed or the suppliers face shortages, low stock levels will result in a halt in production and the idle machinery staff. The business is unable to take advantage of buying in bulk, such discounts and developing economics and scale. So if you have too little stock, again, you're going to run into an issue with 86. Owners, chefs, managers do not like to hear 86 at all. Do you guys know why?
Lose money.
Bingo. That is money escaping from your fingertips. Sometimes you can't help it, especially if you have a feature that sells like crazy. But if you have a regular item on the menu, maybe like shrimp fungi, it runs out of the menu. You're out of shrimp or linguine or mushrooms. Maybe Miss Diaz out of the portobello mushrooms. Now she can't sell that mushroom no more. 86 now. She's going to be pissed because she's not selling it, right? You gotta be able to have enough product to last you for that service. Supply and demand. Delicate balance of supply and demand. What is supply and
Hello,
demand?
Chef. I'm present here, Chef. Pardon me. I'm sorry.
Okay. What is supply and demand?
Kind of the little game that your food people, the people you get your food from are going to play with you. It's in more of a supply, it's in demand, they can raise the price of it. It's just a game.
Supply and demand.
It's basically like you selling what people need or what people want, other than selling what you want to sell.
I was going to do a demonstration.
Right, supply and demand is what you have, your sellable goods, and demand is how much, you're selling it. I'm going to walk into your restaurant and I'm going to expect that portobello mushroom chicken to be delivered to my table because I'm ordering it, right? And if you have it, supply and demand, if you don't have it, what are you going to do? You're going to substitute for regular button mushrooms? No, you can't, okay? So supply and demand, I had a cool video, I'm looking for it, about supply and demand. I'll find it right now real quick. And let me show you guys what supply and demand it's all about. See if I can go to the next slide when I'm at it. Supply and demand, okay? Local restaurants and catering industry continue to boom. Hotels and eateries are increasingly discerning in their demands for ingredients, both in range and quality, while foreign food brands are devising new means to promote their products on the local market. When opening a restaurant or bakery, consider supplying a product that may be in demand. When it's in demand, you'll be allowed to sell it far more. Seasonal menus, right? Seasonal menus, supply and demand. If you have it, you're going to sell it. If you don't have it, supply and demand. Let me see if I can find the video real quick, guys.
I think it's the next slide, Chef. Isn't there a link?
It might be this one.
I thought I saw a link in the next slide.
I think so. Yeah, let me go take a look at it. When ingredients are scarce, sometimes the price of the food costs go up, allowing you to charge more as it increases supply and demand. Remember Twinkies? What happened with Twinkies?
They discontinued them.
People get mad, right? What kind of another example can you give me besides Twinkies? Supply and demand.
McDonald's Szechuan sauce.
Beanie Bears 25 years ago.
The most recently.
Toilet paper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Supply and demand.
Sanitation wipes.
Yeah.
Hand sanitizer, isopropyl alcohol, anything you can use to take, clean your hands of coronavirus.
Supply and demand. Toilet paper, paper towels, hand soap, sanitizing wipes. And what is now that is being shortage in the food industry that might be in a high demand, low in supply?
Beef.
Food industry. Beef, what else? Pork, right?
Customers.
Jeff, I saw not an ad, I saw a quick article this morning. There are farmers in Idaho dumping potatoes. They can't, I haven't find out why, but they're going to become harder to get to some degree because I saw like mountains of them being dumped and buried and stuff.
Not too long ago, maybe about a couple years ago, remember Popeyes?
A damn chicken sandwich?
Chicken sandwich.
Overrated.
Right? Supply and demand, that chicken sandwich, simple as
I just had
simple
that
as
for
that
the
may have
first
been.
time, like for the first time, like last week.
You had your first one?
I had my first one last Saturday.
Is it worth going over there for?
It was good, but it wasn't all day. I know I can make one way better. You know, just didn't feel like cooking.
They also got rid of the those Dorito Locos tacos at Taco Bell. They got rid of the.
They did.
the
That was
fiery shells.
catastrophic, dude.
I was pissed off. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they betrayed me one too many times.
Yeah, and they
got rid of the double steak burrito.
Yep, the double XL. Yeah, number 2.
That was
mine every day.
Sure.
I swear.
Supply and demand, here it is. Take a look at it, guys. Somebody shoot the link on the chat, okay?
So what happened? Well, Chef digs that up real quick. What happened on those potatoes was there's this Idaho potato farmer that most of his business was going to restaurants, and they're not operating. So he had just all these potatoes ready to come out of the ground. They had to come out, and when it came out, they were not being sold at all. So he basically set them up in huge piles, mountains, and invited all the public to come out, bring some kind of container, and just take potatoes till you're happy. Take as many as you want. Take a trunk full.
So there's that one. That supply and demand video is what 3 minutes. You go check it out, guys. And I have another one for you after this one is done.
You want the short one? You want to watch the short one or the long one, Chef? I can't grab the link off your screen.
This is the short one.
Okay.
Hey, Chef. Oh, never mind. I got it. Just got it now.
Thank you. Thank you, Mercedes. You sent me a link, right? Also?
Yes, Chef.
Appreciate it.
I have one question though. Why was that kid not in school?
That's a good question.
That Corona got him.
Like he was the only kid that was not in school. Everybody else came running out of the school, and he was just sitting there playing hooky with a hula hoop.
Good question, right? Any thoughts about the supply and demand?
Yeah, he's price gouging.
This reminds me of an old RPG I used to play. I would do this this quick money making thing with potions. I would buy all the potions, then sell them back, and then repeat the process. And like I had millions of gold before I was even out of the tutorial.
I don't think supply and demand quite works that quickly though. That's like that was the only thing I saw with it, but it's basically that's the whole concept right there. People want it, so you slightly keep increasing the price and making money off of it.
Yeah, and I'll go back to that one when you watch the next one. Watch this one.
All right, here we go.
This one is only 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. Supply and demand. They're more funny, more up to date. What do you guys think?
She might as well just give up.
The meter maid was nasty. She could have let her go. She was leaving anyway.
Yeah, that seemed like a lot more personal than professional.
That
She's
that
just
lady,
trying to meet
wow, she ain't have to do that coffee on her boyfriend.
Supply
I
and
love
demand, right?
that the homeless guy's philosophy. That was perfect. That is supply and demand at its finest. Right there. Like, oh, it's you need it, I'll give you this for it. You try to go somewhere else, all of a sudden you still need it. Oh, well, let me make a little bit more profit off of it, you know? That's supply and demand at its finest.
So he also showed price gouging, right?
Yeah.
Both. Price gouging.
Oh no, baby.
Think about more than maybe about 3 years ago. Something similar to that happened here too, especially here in Texas. Maybe it'll jar your memories. But 3 years ago, around this time or the summertime, hurricane season hit, and it hit the oil drilling platforms off the Gulf Coast. What happened with the gas?
It went up to $4.
What happened to the gas stations?
They were, well,
They
before
got bum rushed for gas because people panicked and then they freaked out and they were like, oh my gosh, we're going to run out of gas, so I got to go buy gas.
Supply and demand, right? Supply ran low, demand ran high. People panicked, they run to the gas stations. It was all over the social media. People, when they freaked out, they were long last at the gas station. Gas station owners started to price gouge the gas per gallon. And before you know it, the gas station started to run out of gas. There was no shortage of gas. The refineries had enough gasoline. They just couldn't get it fast enough to the gas stations to support the supply. So supply and demand. Same thing in your restaurant, supply and demand. You're gonna have a product that is high in demand. You're gonna run out of it. What's gonna happen to the last one? So you're gonna up the price, or you're gonna just run it like that. So make sure you're well stocked, so you're able to have your product on the menu going out the door and generate profit. So purchasing and inventory, good purchasing procedures will identify and reduce potential waste before it enters your business. So good purchasing procedures. You got to be diligent. You have to train them one at a time. Okay, you gotta make sure you have your training on point. Otherwise, you're gonna have overstock. You're gonna run out of products, or you are going to have the product go spoiled. So again, purchasing is a very important part of the operation. You got to know how to when to buy it, when to move it, and keep that flow coming. Keep it going. Good receiving procedures will prevent acceptance of shipments which are off spec, incorrect, or properly packaged, and reduce unnecessary waste generation, returns, and spills. Remember that picture I showed you guys with my line cook, right? Finger like this, thumb like that on the box of chicken that was mislabeled.
The marinated chicken stacked on top.
Right. And returns, you know, when you have returns, make sure you call your sales rep right away. Make sure they come and get the product off your back dock, your kitchen, because that's you know, that's part of the sitting real estate property or cooler. I have gotten items that were labeled for another restaurant, another establishment, into my back dock. I took a picture, sent it to my sales rep. Look, man, the delivery dropped this off. It doesn't belong to us. I'm gonna save it here on the side. So whenever, maybe tomorrow or whenever you have a chance, somebody can swing by, pick it up, and take it to the establishment. Sometimes they will call themselves to the establishment. Hey, by the way, the delivery made a mistake. They drop your product at so and so place. It's the chef is holding it there for you guys. Somebody needs to go pick it up. Okay, it's not the restaurant's fault. If they can, if they need it that bad, then we'll go pick it up, or they'll sell someone to pick it up. And maybe the purveyor will give them credit for the product that they misplaced in another location. But always do your due diligence. Make sure you check every single box that comes in. Otherwise, you're going to be shortage. And by the time you open up for a service, you're not going to have that product. When receiving food, inspect every delivery for damage, quality, signs of pests, unusual temperatures. If food that should be refrigerated is initially warm, it means that something was wrong with the refrigeration unit and the delivery truck, or that the shipment wasn't refrigerated at all. Shipments should be rejected. I'll give you a prime example. A while ago in '92, I was working at a hotel in Long Beach, California, and we had a shipping receiving department. The truck got there late after the shipping clerk went home, and the dishwashers put away the product without checking it in. By 9:30, I'm out of potatoes, so I had to call security to come and open the dry storage so I can go grab some potatoes for whatever I need them. So I went and grabbed the case and set it aside and moved the top lid off. What I saw inside, it freaked me the hell out, because the product was tainted with mice. A mouse have made a nest inside the case of potatoes that was not visible. So when I removed the lid, the mama mice jumped, ran away, and there was baby mice embedded in half-eaten potatoes inside the case.
That's gross.
Always inspect. Always check for temperature control abuse. Always open up the products and inspect them, because not always you're going to have product coming into your back door that is clean and sanitary, or not shortage, or the wrong amount of weight. So always do your due diligence. Like I said, I used to be in the back of my loading dock, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, waiting for the loading truck to arrive, so I can be there present, check the invoice, check the product, and if anything was out of whack, like you saw the pictures, automatically, first things first. Hey, Bo, the guy, his name was Bo. Hey, Bo, this got to my back door. I can't accept it. You're going to have to come pick it up or give me credit. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to reject it. You have the right to do so. You are the customer. You cannot just be telling, oh, no problem, I'll take it, I'll use it, and end up, using a product the cans are dented, they're bulging, there's a rat inside of a bag of hamburger buns. No, you got to reject the product. You got to send it back. Okay. Storage, proper storage of food immediately after it has been received. And check this, an important factor in the prevention of control of loss or waste. Perishables need to be placed immediately into the refrigerator or frozen storage. Staples should be stored in an orderly and systematic arrangement. Food should be protected from pests, rodents, and insects. Storage should also have low humidity and proper ventilation to prevent spoilage, especially if your dry storage has a water leakage from the ceiling, the plumbing. Get it fixed, because mold will start accumulating, and you can have mold problems within the building structure. Okay. And you know what happens when you have water contamination in your dry storage within the sheetrock, especially here in Texas? Cockroaches. Cockroaches, guys. Storing, the simple most important part of storing properly is labeling food. Every ingredient or dish stored must have a label with its name and use by date. It is also helpful to mark the date when an item is received, which makes organization easier. Generally, you can store TCS, ready to eat food, up to 7 days. We used to have a system that even the canned goods, at the top of the can, we used to write the date it was received, even the canned products, because we didn't want to get in, get a can of tomatoes and put them in the can rack and at the beginning and the front, and then push the old ones back, and the old ones never got used. So always rotate them. Use FIFO, first in, first out. Food should be stored and used according to the principle of first in, first out. Use food that is closest to expiring. This is easy if you know the date something is received. All food must be stored in the original container until used. One word of caution, one word of advice for you guys. If you guys own your own business, here there's a picture of a milk carton and a couple of other ingredients, specifically milk, dairy products. Try to get away from buying them from the big box stores, Cisco, PFG, Benny Keith, Labatt, U.S. Food Service. Try to get them, huh?
Sam's Club.
Yep. Try to get an account with what is it, Highland or Borden Sear? What is it? What do you got? Highland, right? Try to get an account with a dairy company for dairy products. Those big box stores, they don't move enough with those dairy products. So if you do order them when they come in your back dock, check their expiration date. It might be within a couple of days of being expired. They will send you what is not pushing. They will send you what is sitting on their shelves. And most of the time, that product is close to maybe a day or two of expiration date. Your dairy companies, Highland or Borden's, whatever you want to buy from, they're specifically deal with dairies, and they will bring you product, and the delivery guy knows to check your dairy product in the house. If you have items that are about to expire, they will remove those from your store, and they will give you credit for those expired items. Okay. They'd rather not deal with a backlash of restaurants serving spoiled milk, somebody getting sick, and it goes back to them. So they will remove those items at no cost to you, and they will give you a fresh product. So do your due diligence and buy from approved dairy companies, Borden and Highlands. Word of advice, guys. Okay. Food containers should be durable, leak-proof, and sealable. Are the best, the very last coverable. Chemicals should be kept in the original label containers and disposed of according to the label. Food, chemicals, and linens should each get their own storage area, all three of which should be separate from food prep areas. Why is that important?
Because leak onto the food, contaminate it. Sorry, Jason, go ahead.
What'd you say, Chef Gary?
I couldn't hear your response. I was asking what you said.
If one of them is broken or if it's leaking, it could leak onto the food and contaminate it.
Could leak on, or the dairy product could leak on, stuff in storage could leak on the linens or different things too. Anything like that, right? Cross-contamination, chemicals getting in the food, chemicals getting on the linens, yeah.
Water looks like vinegar, looks like bleach, may not look like ammonia, but they're all liquids. Always store them away from food products and always label them if they don't come labeled. Sometimes if you buy spray bottles, when you buy certain chemicals, they will come in and they will come in with a sticker of that chemical product, so you can get that sticker and put it on a spray bottle. So when you refill the spray bottle with like this one, sanitizer or bleach or whatever, you're gonna slap that sticker, that appropriate certified sticker on that spray bottle, and keep it within. Because again, if your line cook doesn't know that's not water, it's gonna grab that bottle of bleach and spray into that baguette in the oven, or it's gonna use it for something else and not supposed to. Always keep the chemicals away from the food. Linens, cross-contamination, unless you want to make a cocktail of Lysol, Tide Pod. Okay. Food linens and single-use items should be all stored away from the walls and at least 6 inches off the floor to keep away from dirt and moisture and pests. This is what we're talking about, right? The picture on the left is the proper way to store food products in a dry. This is a produce cooler in a shelving unit.
Is that Waffle House on the right?
Waffle House, Cribble Lane Cafe. I don't know, one of those chains. The one on the right hand side, nobody's taking the time to sweep and or mop underneath the shelving. And you got food particles, maybe some French fries and chips, some rat droppings, some insects. So you got to be able to clean underneath it. And the one on the right hand side, the shelf, underneath the shelf is solid. You don't want solid, you want the rack, so you be able to see what's on the floor and be able to clean it. Okay.
Also, those racks allow air to move if it's a proper rack. If it's a solid rack, you have less air movement down there, and you have more pests and slower for things to dry after the floor gets wet and things like that.
Especially in the freezer or on the cooler, you want that air to be circulating all over the place from top to bottom. So if you have a solid shelving, you're not getting air circulation. That means the tomatoes sitting on the bottom shelf, they're gonna collect a lot of condensation. They're gonna be sitting in orange juices. They're gonna spoil that faster. Always gotta have that air circulation. In the refrigerator, the most hazardous food should be on the bottom, and the least hazardous food should be on top. right? Ready to eat on top, raw food on the bottom, not cooked, not raw but cooked. Okay. This is based on the internal cooking temperature, and the food within the highest internal cooking temperature should be on the bottom. In the refrigerated containing poultry, meat, and vegetables, the poultry should be the bottom, and the vegetables should be on top, and the meat in the middle. Hazardous or at-risk foods are most likely to not spoil, but also to drip down onto the other foods contaminating them. Always.
So if something's like a tartare and it's ready to eat, is that something you would still put on the top?
No.
Even though it's like raw meat?
Yeah. You still put it when the raw meat is supposed to go, not with the pork or seafood or chicken, but with the raw meat. Sometimes they will advise you put solid cuts on top, and then ground beef on the bottom, and then your seafood and pork and your chicken on the bottom, because it is.
Okay. So they could go for the same thing about ceviche, right?
Yeah, you're reaching cooler too. I have the same system in my fridge, believe it or not. I don't put anything raw on the bottom, I mean the top. Everything's on the bottom. Even at home, it should be the same process. Same thing, right?
Yep.
Now, here's a little thing. A while ago in banquets, right, health department walks in, and our place was spotless clean. You can even eat off the floor. I suggest not to, but that's how clean it was. Everything was day dotted, labeled, covered, rotated, you name it, in my kitchen. Health department walk in, and they were going to give us 100%, but of course their job is to make it as hard as it is, right? Deduct points, but we fought so hard through training and everyday aspect that we had a spotless, well-organized kitchen, just like Amy's. So they walked in, and we had a speed rack in production for the next day. Okay, on that speed rack, we had grill marked chicken breast at the bottom, right? And on top, we had another raw product on it. Health department walks in, even though it was covered with plastic. Health department walks in, and even though that chicken was not fully cooked, it was considered cooked. So it should not be in the bottom. It should be somewhere on the top, because it was considered part cooked. It had already touched the grill or to touch heat. And we were like, doesn't make any sense. It's not cooked. So if it leaks, it's going to contaminate the rest of the product. They didn't care. He said it had already touched heat, and it should be in the top, not in the bottom. I'm like, all right, your words. So you got to be careful. You can't fight with them. And remember, educate yourself and make them your friends. Storage temperatures. Perishable foods should be kept outside of the danger zone, 42 to 135, whenever possible. Go back to foundations. Week 1, serve safe. Usually that means storing it below 41 degrees, but it might also mean keeping it above 135 if you're hot, holding it for service. Eggs can be stored at 145 degrees or below. The dry storage should be between 50 and 70 unless it is being kept below 41 degrees to keep pests out, right? I've come across in a couple of places that flies were flying around in the walk-in cooler, flies that were kind of numb and slow. They went out fast, so we was able to get rid of it. But it was a place that the back dog, the trash dumpster was right at the back dog, and the cooler was right next to the back dog. So there was a lot of that going around. Check the temperature of storage areas at the start of each shift. Each storage area should have a hanging thermometer in it, so employees can check the ambient temperature. Avoid overloading coolers, fridges, and freezers. The air needs to circulate around the entire room and the container to keep the food cold. Don't leave the cooler open since there's less warm air in. So in this part, I always like to have the an outside thermometer for the cooler, maybe the one that is built in, digital or a dial. And inside the cooler, we'll always buy the ones from Ecolab, the big analog-looking clocks, thermometers, and post them somewhere not next to the fans, but away from the fans on the wall high that can be visible. So when the health department walks in, he saw nothing but, he or she saw nothing but a sealed label, day dots, everything covered, the floor clean. And when he checked the temperature outside, it was concise with the temperature that was inside the big, gigantic analog-looking clock thermometer. Okay. The more transparent and the more visible it is, the less chances they're going to get points off your inspection. Okay. And always don't overload them, because if you do, you're not going to have that air circulating through the your shelves, and your product might be sitting there. It's going to spoil that faster. Okay. Cleanliness in storage. All parts of the storage area should be cleaned regularly. Floors, walls, and shelving. Anything used to transport food should be used also be cleaned. Dollies, carts, and so on. The containers themselves should be cleaned and sanitized before being used. Glasses and cups should be stored upside down. And utensils should be stored with the handle up so that staff can pick them up without touching the food contact surfaces. Food contact surfaces, stationary equipment should be covered until ready for use. It bothers me when I go to a place and the silverware is the handles are facing down in the little container. I'm like, no, especially so. Sometimes those mom and pop shops, diners, that you see them is that they have the handle, the handles down. Like, no, that's the wrong way to store it. Okay. Storing and cleaning supplies. When storing cleaning tools, hang mops, brooms, and brushes on hooks to air dry. Clean and rinse buckets, let them air dry, then store them. Air dry towels overnight. All cleansers should be properly labeled and stored in the original packaging. Does it bring back memories? Anybody?
Well.
Yes.
From what kind of memories?
A lot of stuff. Boot camp. Foundations.
Right.
We're pretty specific at foundations, right? Like every night we we just know that if we go out of there and the mop room is nappy, then I'm going to catch up from somebody about it in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The cleanest job I ever worked at was hobnobbing. That job was so clean.
That's cool.
Huh?
I said, that's cool. Good.
Downtown Austin or where?
Yeah, I worked at North Lamar.
Okay, the one in downtown Austin, it was the GM his name was Josh LeBlanc. It was my Cisco sales rep.
Mm.
Anyways, they should bring back memories because in school, every time we clean, we're always supposed to remove the mop head from the mop, put the wringer in the sink, put the mop head in the wringer in the sink so it doesn't leak all over the floor. And all the brooms and everything should supposed to be hanging from the hooks or on the side of the wall. And again, not because of us, the health department. That's one of the things. If they've been several times, inspecting our kitchens, and that's one thing that we always sometimes we get on because we don't put the mops and brooms where they're supposed to be and the way they're supposed to be done. As anyone who has worked in food storage can tell you, the safest storage of food in warehouses can be a difficult business. Improperly stored food can pose a massive health and safety hazard to both customers and workers. To say nothing of the loss in revenue it can bring from you have to throw away all that spoiled food. I just told you guys I threw away about $3,000 when I took over that property. Even that piece of sliced watermelon looked like corned beef. Imagine how long that had to be there to build all that pink fuzz, right? And it looked like something it's not. Think on a different shape. Well, every warehouse is different. There are still some commonly seen issues that arise in the worlds of food and storage that every warehouse should try to avoid. Control temperature, light, and moisture in your storeroom. Temperature, light, and moisture are the three of the biggest factors in keeping food from spoiling your storeroom. These conditions can impact your supplies. You need to know how to control them in your storage space. Temperature, light, and moisture. Okay, think about it.
Could someone give us an example of a case where light is not a good thing for food and storage?
Aging beef.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Some of them you can't, it's not no light.
What about a produce item?
Mushrooms?
Yeah, shrooms.
Potatoes also. Potatoes don't want to get a bunch of sunlight on them, They start to turn, they make that green stuff called solanine. So
like lettuce.
Your potatoes turn green, you probably have to throw them away.
What about your bananas?
Mm-mm.
What happens when you put bananas in your cooler?
Oh, they get brown, like they get starts to accelerate, right? The ripening process, they start to get brown, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Bananas have to be, I forget what the temperature control had to be, I think like 50, 55 degrees. And they had to be open, not closed in a sealed container, because bananas is still emitting gases. So if you trap them in their gases, they're going to spoil faster.
They're going to ripen faster and spoil faster. They need to have an air circulator around them, yes.
That's why people put them in paper bags, right?
Yeah,
like other stuff to make it fight.
They can breathe.
Yeah, if you put them in paper and trap some of their gas around them, they might even ripen faster. But plastic is really bad for them because their gases be trapped and they cause them to ripen faster, unless that's what you want. And also the moisture, when there's plastic on them, then they start to have mold issues and different kind of spoilage and stuff, right?
So light, temperature, and moisture in your dry storage and your coolers. What happens if you have a lot of moisture in your walk-in cooler? What could happen?
Mold. It's slippery in there.
Yeah, mold, a lot of excess water.
Mold. Do you guys ever work at a place with the soda fountain or the soda dispenser? You clean it and you clean the little spigot from where the soda comes out. You look inside underneath it and it's nasty. It look like slime.
Woo! Jeff, my daughter and I were eating at Taco Cabana on Lamar, close to our school, about 3-4 years ago. And she said, Dad, this Dr. Pepper tastes weird. And I said, I can't taste anything. And no, something's wrong. I tried about 3 times and finally I could taste something wasn't right. And you're right. And I just went over there, I looked both ways and I popped that spray head off that soda machine. Woo, that thing was not clean in months. Yeah, and it was black mold all stuck hanging off there, just like, looked like tar.
Refrigeration units.
Ice cream machine.
Your
That's
what?
why it's always broken. McDonald's, they don't clean their ice cream machines right, and it's always mold.
That happens too if they don't, yeah.
That's why it's always broken.
Mm-hmm. When I was in the military, a buddy of mine, he moved into the barracks, and he was doing his room inspection or whatever before he moved into the room, seeing what was wrong with it and stuff like that. And he was checking the freezer and the refrigerator, and black mold growing all around the refrigerator. And he was just like, nuh-uh, bro. I can't. Yeah, it was like, I'm not talking like one little speck. I'm talking like almost the entire thing was coated in black mold. And yeah. Just a few horror stories from the military, Don't join the military, guys.
When you have your coolers, you usually have a drain pipe. Even the freezer does. The freezers, the walk-in freezers, they have the gas getting built inside the door where it heats up the gasket. So the moisture that attracts from your kitchen, the humidity, is not going to collect and then form ice, and it's not going to shut your freezer frozen. It'll melt that ice that is building. But your coolers and freezer have a drain pipe from the condensers. In that drain pipe, it does 99% of the time, it doesn't get service. And as water is dripping from the condensers or the fans inside the cooler, slime start collecting and mold inside the drain pipes, and then it'll get clogged up. So where the fan is, you got some product underneath the fan, tomatoes, lettuce, meat, whatever, and then that water is not going to the drain because the drain pipe is so small, maybe smaller than the quarter size. That drain is going to get clogged up, it's going to get backed up, and that is going to build mold inside, and the water is going to collect, is going to keep on dripping on top of your product. So if you see boxes that have leakage on top of them, or your floors with underneath the fan, that is water evidence, you betcha that drain pipe is being clogged up and is mold has or slime has been built up and is unsafe. It can become toxic. So have somebody do maintenance on your coolers and make sure that artery is clean so that water doesn't collect. Same thing with the soda machines too. We're talking about them, how Chef Garrett saying that it tasted funky. That drain on the little thing that you put your beverages in it, in the nozzle, you have any soda, that drain is, the drain pipe is about the size of a penny or smaller too. And it goes behind to the drain pipe, behind the unit. And that drain, that hose gets backed up, build those slimes, the slime, and that slime goes up to the drain tray. And sometimes you see it and it's like liquid in there. It's like, because that slime has built so much that it's clogged up the artery. And when you try to clean it and blow it out, this nasty looking slime comes out the end of the hose. It's nasty. So make sure that, you know, moisture is flowing and it's kept, it doesn't build up, and you don't see any signs of any plumbing issues that have been backed up and collecting slime and roll, because that can be toxic. You can hurt somebody if it contaminates your food source. So try not to put any food source underneath the fence.
Chef, there's two ways to deal with that. One is how to drain it and clean it, all that, right? Oops, sorry guys. Sorry, I don't have two ways. One, everybody, or key cooks in the kitchen and the sous chefs know how to and know when to do those on a regular basis. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. And some operators might say this is part of a cook's closing duties once a month, right? We just once a month it's got to be done, just like on that cleaning schedule like you discussed in sanitation. If you're not going to do that, or if you feel like that's not the way to go, then you hire some company who's happy to make a small maintenance contract with you. They'll come and look at all your refrigerations. They'll estimate how much time to clean each one. They'll figure up a bill and they'll say, okay, we'll come out and it'll be $180, I don't know, once a month to do all these. Your condensate drains, your evaporator box inside underneath you reach in if that's how it has instead of inside the fridge. And then you pay some monthly maintenance as part of all those expenses I told you guys, you're gonna be paying, right? So do it yourself, have your cooks do it, or pay some service to be doing it. But one way or another, it wants to be done, because like Chef Miguel said, your health inspector comes in and catches that, or worse yet, somebody gets sick before the health inspector catches it. That's, it's extremely costly and very bad for your business, bad for your PR, not just the dollar, not just the checkbook.
Usually there's a system called PM in large businesses. It's called, it's an acronym for preventative maintenance. That means the maintenance department walks in with a clipboard, a scanner, and it has a little barcode and some numbers on the unit. They'll scan it and make sure it's working properly. If not, they'll come back, schedule to clean the condensers and get all the dust bunnies and all the dirt from the condensers that it was working properly. Same thing with your low boys, your sandwich lines, your hot line, those coolers in the bottom. They usually have a condenser in the bottom. They'll remove that cover, and they'll blast those dust bunnies, because if they get built up, then your unit is going to be forced to work extra hard. And if it does, it might break, and it can cost you $3,000 to $5,000 to replace the unit, depending on the kind of unit, the size, and the name brand. So always do PM, preventive maintenance. So temperature, right? PM, remember that, PM, not like PM at night. Improper temperature control. The first biggest and yet most easily missed step of food storage is ensuring everything is set up to correct temperature. This can be caused by a few things: freezers not working properly, improperly sealed doors, letting too much warm, cold air into a temperature control area, or vents being blocked from distributing air properly. Make sure you do a check of all the seals and vents in any given area. It takes some time to make sure that the industrial storage isn't hampering air circulation. Remember to check that what temperature each product needs to be stored up and keep at different safe and correctly maintained. So temperature controls, the biggest one in the industry is the freezer not working properly, right? You have a high, a lot of volume business, business that has a lot of volume. Your cooks are going to go in and out of their freezer or that cooler. That air is going to fluctuate so much that the air inside the cooler might not be sitting at 39, 41 degrees. It's going to rise to maybe 50 or 60 degrees. Hence, the ones we have at school, the dry storage cooler, when we go in there so many times in and out, the temperature goes up, and it becomes to be in your temperature zone. Your freezer, if you keep on opening and closing it, what happens is condensation starts building up and it starts crystallizing within the walls or in the back. So you need to keep it as close as possible. Don't be opening and closing it. And when you do, if you can, you're not going to be able to avoid it, but those gaskets wear and tear. They are going to tear. They're going to have holes. And you're going to have to replace them because if you have a holy gasket, no pun intended, the health department's going to walk in and the cooler unit may be a brand new one, or maybe a semi-brand new one, but it's not cooling properly. The reason why because there may be holes in the gasket, the hider is coming through and it's not working properly. It's working extra hard and you're going to stress it out. It's going to cost a lot of money to replace. The events, even the filters, nowadays it's more imperative. Did you guys know? Did you guys remember how many times we changed the filters at school from the AC units? How many times a month did we change them?
Can't say I ever saw that done.
Change what, Chef?
The AC filters in school.
It's supposed to be done about every 2 blocks, if I remember right. Yeah, I remember us cleaning vent hoods, but I don't remember us doing AC filters in our block, in the block that you guys were with me in.
No, because you guys in the PM classes, it's pretty much already taken care of. The AC filters up on the ceiling, we change them every 1st and 15th of the month. Twice a month. Why? Because so much air is coming in and out, because the doors are being opened and closing, so much foot traffic that the filters attract all that dust, pollen, whatever is floating around, and it traps them. So the air filters, the AC air filters are getting clogged up. They're going to force the AC units to work extra hard, and we know what that means in the summertime. Those kitchens get extremely hot when those AC filters go, those AC units go down. Same thing with your filters in your kitchen. You need to clean them at least once a month, if not once a quarter from a professional filter cleaner, because they'll come in and clean the hoods. If you don't clean them at least once a week, depending on the use, or once a month, they're going to collect so much grease, they're going to start dripping, and the little drip pan that's around the little gutters on the hood vents, they're going to fill up with that grease that is dripping from the filter. It's inside, it's going to overflow. It's going to come down the side of the wall. It's going to collect like wax on the side of the your stainless steel wall. May become a safety hazard should that catch on fire. So always clean and treat your equipment from your AC filters to your hood vents, because if you don't, they're going to collect all that grease and become a fire hazard, or you're going to be smoking out your kitchen too much. You're not going to be able to draw that smoke and heat out of the kitchen into the outside air. The ideal temperature for a storeroom containing dry goods is between 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The hotter your space is, the faster your foods can spoil, especially canned goods. It is beneficial to keep a thermometer in your storeroom so you can always monitor the temperature and prevent spoiling. What about your dry goods, your beans, your flours? What can happen if the temperature goes up? What kind of things can happen to those things?
When they spoil?
The beans start sprouting.
What else?
You get little insects inside of them that happen automatically somehow. I don't know how.
What do we call those little insects?
I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about. They're tiny and they're really black.
Like mites?
They're mighty small.
They're really small. I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
They're mighty small.
That's how you get snakes.
They're mites.
Are they mites?
Boll weevil.
Weevils. We call them weevils.
Yeah.
Right, Christian, weevils. Thank you.
Weevils. We call those weevils.
In flour if you don't seal it right.
Right. If you don't seal it right, and they get that moisture in because the temperature is high, your flour gets weevils, your dry beans gets weevils. What else? Your canned goods. What about your canned products if it goes above 70 degrees? What happens to those canned products? What could happen to those?
Botulism. Something.
They what?
They swell. They
start bulging.
Yeah.
Right? When you go and open it, what happens? You got tomato sauce up in the ceiling. I've seen that happen too. I'm like, oh no. No. So always try to keep a thermometer inside your dry storage too to monitor the air temperature, because if you don't, again, those products are going to sprout weevils. They're going to sprout roots, the potatoes, the flour, the beans. The canned goods are going to and it's too much moisture too, that brown sugar is going to, if it's not sealed properly, is going to condensate to a like a concrete block, brick, and then you're not going to be able to use it. You're going to have to throw it away. Okay, so always monitor the temperature in your dry storage. Light not only impacts temperature, but also can oxidize foods. Oxidation largely impacts fats and pigments. When fat is oxidized, the food's nutritional value degrades and the food eventually becomes rancid. Can you guys give me an example of a rancid product in your dry storage?
Like the potatoes, like Chef Gary was saying, where if they get too hot, then they start getting the sultane.
No. I mean, that is a thing, but it's not what Chef Miguel is looking for right now, guys.
What product can go rancid and you taste it right off the bat when you open it?
Take a look at that paragraph. It says that oxidation largely impacts fats and pigments. So then it finally concludes with that last word there called rancid. When I was a kid, my dad said rancid. He'd use that word to describe anything that's getting stanky, right? But specifically in the business, right? We would say it for meat sometimes. In the business, though, they're talking about fats going bad and getting an off flavor from age usually. So what kind of fat might you have in your dry storage room?
Fat for the fryer.
Fry oil, veg oil, olive oil. Yeah, that stuff can get funky if it's too long, hanging around too long. Yeah.
The light's too bright, it might oxidize or it might change the olive oil to being rancid. And that's why olive oil comes into those tin cans and comes into those dark hued color plastic bottles or glass bottles, because it needs to be protected from the UV lights from the sun and the lights in the buildings. If it doesn't, that olive oil is going to become rancid. You guys ever had a dressing that is like, oh, what the hell is this? It's so rancid, I got to spit it out. It's because that olive oil has been exposed to light abuse, or it might be open and somebody use it, close it and put it back, so it traps that oxygen and becomes rancid. Especially grapeseed oil, very, very temperamental, and it's real expensive. Grapeseed oil, walnut oil, even the cheap, truffle oil, those tend to go rancid really quick. You can't use them after that. You got to throw them in the trash because they're not good to you. Fry oil is another one, because if you keep bringing it out of the box and it sits for too long in a place that it has a lot of strong lights, and you're going to use that fry oil to fry your French fries and your calamari or whatever you're frying, your tortilla chips or your fried goods in your menu, you're going to taste that rancid flavor in the product. So always make sure that you keep the light where it's supposed to be, and keep that product flowing, because the longer it sits there, the longer it's exposed to becoming rancid.
When I worked at Cabela's, our fry oil came in a box that was like stuck to the bottle it was in. Like it had a whole.
And there's a reason why, the one that gets stuck to the box, because they don't want you to take that plastic out of the box because it's too heavy, and the plastic encases the fry oil, it is a low grade. What happens if you take the plastic out of the box and it's real heavy and wobbly? You might accidentally hit it with the side or something, might poke a hole. And also too, the plastic, again, is going to make it rancid if it hits too much light. So the box is going to protect it from damage and becoming, from being poked, being leaking, or having, any light abuse.
So you're saying that sometimes those manufacturers glue the jug down inside the box? That's not something I've seen yet, but it does not surprise me, I guess.
Yeah, all of our fry oil came in a special box that was made for it. Like it had a hole for the dispense, like right. Out.
Ah, yeah. Was it like a spigot at the bottom, and you just set it up there and crack it open and let it run?
We can do that, yeah.
Yeah, like a box of wine kind of. Yeah, I haven't seen that before. That's crazy.
All right, if you have the spigot, you can do that, but normally we just unscrewed the lid and poured it in the fryer. We didn't let it go near the light.
Yep. Also, speaking of rancidity, flour products and grain problems, that the products that have a fat content to them, they can get rancid also. So like baguette flour is pretty clean, does not have much wheat germ in it. The high protein bread flour doesn't have much wheat germ. It has a pretty long shelf life as long as it's not too long, start getting mites or weevils, as we talked about a minute ago, right? But like whole wheat flour, bulgur wheat, which is whole wheat with the germ and the bran and everything, the fat that's in the wheat germ, it's a naturally occurring fat. It's actually a really good fat for us. That stuff will spoil quicker than a white flour or a bread flour will spoil. Whole wheat flour will go downhill a little quicker, and when it does, it's rancidity very often that takes it down because of the fat spoiling inside.
It makes a flour taste like it has somewhat of an ether metallic taste to it.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant.
Chef.
Yes.
Oh, what about nuts? Can't they go rancid, like walnuts and pecans?
Walnuts, yes, because
yep.
high in fat, oil. That's why when you get them, if you're going to use them, transfer them out of the container and put them in a plastic or glass jar or a Ziploc baggie that is sealed, so they don't have too much contact with the air in the dry storage. Because if you leave them open, what's going to happen? First of all, you're going to get gnats, flies, ants, sugar ants, or whatever going to your dry storage. Second of all, that air that's floating around is going to oxidize those fats in the nuts, and they're going to make them rancid. Those nuts, that oil, the natural oil is what makes those items spoil really fast. Yeah.
Chef, I worked for one restaurant operator that was he was always studying stuff like that to try to make his places, just to be a better, smarter operator. And he always insisted that you could have pecans, walnuts, and things like that from out in the regular refrigeration, maybe up to a week. But if it was longer term, when you first got it, if you could have it for a length of time, the requirement was freezer. So we had one section inside the walk-in freezer: walnuts, almonds, pecans, pepitas, things like that.
And those items are expensive too. They're going to cost you quite a bit of money. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back to the first couple of those spreadsheets and information that is shared with you guys. This is our internal audit, food safety audit that we had at our property. Here in number 39, no, is it number 39? 40, number 40. All ice machines are rust-free, slime-free, and free of scale buildup. Okay, deduct any points. One, if the ice machines are rusted inside, they have visible slime, or have a hard water scale buildup, or machine is dirty. Even the ice machines, again, water can build up that slime on it. Okay, what else did I saw back here a while ago? We were looking at hand washing signs.
Hey, Chef, I want to ask our students a question right now. Guys, you know this is not a health inspector's form, right? Whose form is this?
Executive chef.
Right, or the hotel operators, executive chef, food and beverage. The chef probably is the one that has to make this stuff happen, right? But this is an internal audit. This is like what you check, make sure you're doing right. And if you do, you're not going to hear too much from the health inspector. You have a good reputation. Everybody's happy. That's right.
Self-evaluation.
Yeah,
Right.
self-eval. Yep.
Exactly. Number 42. There are no backflow or back siphonage problems. All hose bibs have vacuum breakers. All drain pipes have air gap in the floor drain. Kitchen storeroom walls, floor, ceilings must be in good condition and no holes or missing tiles. Cooler gaskets are in good condition and doors seal well when closed. All floor drains have covers. Okay. Now this is the internal audit that we did for ourselves, but believe it or not, I didn't create this internal audit. I'll tell you where I got it. Back a while ago in 2004, 2005, we, the place that I was working for, the employer, had a third-party audit come in and inspect the property with an audit, food audit form. This is the form that they use to inspect our kitchens. The company was called Steritech. Very thorough. It was an 8-hour process to inspect your property. line by line, item by item, they took their time to inspect your property. If you got, was it below 90 percentage on your inspection, you got a written warning. Stereotech had to come back with X amount of dates, X amount of time between the first inspection to do a follow-up to make sure that you corrected the issues.
Yeah.
You had not corrected the issues on the second time. The property got fined $1,000 for not correcting the issues. The third time, the executive chef's head rolled. That means he or she got fired. That was in 05. I used this form in 08, 09, and 010. I mean 2010. I took that form, modified it, and made it fit to the place that I was working at. And we were very diligent with our internal audit. Again, I took it, robbed them of the knowledge, right? I say that inspection, modified to fit our property, and that's what we carry with us every single week. We did a walkthrough through the whole entire property in food and beverage and noted the discrepancy. So during the food and beverage meeting, we addressed those issues because we went around and took pictures of the deficiencies, not just wrote them on the page. So we went to the meeting, we became the bad guys for the banquet manager, the restaurant manager, the bar manager, and so forth, so on, because we were very anal about following procedure and making sure everything was safe and covered. Because of this internal audit, we were passing the local health inspection with flying colors every single time. There was nothing that we didn't get caught or blindsided with, because we knew exactly what needed to be fixed. We fixed it, we corrected it, and we trained our staff how to keep food safe. And again, we talk about gas because we talk about food, we talk about light structure. Here it is, guys. You guys have this form. This is an 05 form that I used when I was there. And I took it and modified it to fit the property. You can keep this one. You have it. I sent it to you guys, and you can modify it to your needs should you want to use it. If you do, I can guarantee you, you're going to pass the local health inspection with flying colors, maybe get a perfect score when they come inspect your kitchens. Because you have this, you have documented, you have trained, and you have caught the errors every single time you walk through your kitchens, okay? So again, it's not, you know, it's nothing hidden, it's there, it's very transparent. Even to the point of having the pest control. You gotta have those straps outside the building. You gotta have those blue lights inside your kitchens, inside the restaurant, very discreetly, but they're still there. You gotta have the schematics map of where the blue lights are located, where the traps are located inside your kitchen or outside of your building. And you gotta have the inspections logged in on a monthly basis, your receipts on the binder, so when you get inspected, you can produce those documents. This is real stuff, guys. This is stuff that I used in the past, okay? So light, okay, light. Moisture, again, we talk about moisture. Can create environments where mold and bacteria flourish. Since both of these can be harmful to your ingredients and supplies, it is best to keep the moisture levels in your storeroom under control, okay? In some cases, moisture can be cause of your shelves to rust and damage the food they hold. Use a dehumidifying system in your storeroom that has excess moisture, and be sure to clean your dehumidifier regularly. So what can you do to eliminate buying a dehumidifier and having your shelves become rusty?
Just clean them regularly, chef. Honestly, clean and dry them regularly.
Okay.
You said something other than having a humidifier?
Yeah, so you don't have to buy a dehumidifier. You don't have to, like, you know, worry about getting them rusty and they're rusted.
Desiccant?
Anywho?
Desiccant?
Yeah.
It absorbs moisture. It says things that are in the, like, they make really big packs of it, but it's what's in the beef jerky packs that keep the,
yeah,
they absorb moisture and keep it from I guess getting
Having
into
the
meat.
correct temperatures.
Yes.
Make sure you're sealed when you put it on the shelf.
Make sure whatever you put on the shelf is moisture free, but also too, to prevent it from getting rusted, why not invest in plastic shelving? There's no stainless steel, no chrome.
Yeah, you can buy chrome steel shelves that are plastic coated. Same strong wire shells with a super tough plastic coating on it. It's easier to clean and it does not let rust start.
Even if you buy plastic, easy to remove, lighter, and you can run into this machine without buying a dehumidifier. So there's a lot of things you can do to prevent you spending for the dehumidifier and prevent it from getting rusted.
You do have to make sure any shelves you buy are NSF approved or approved for use in food service, right?
Yes, not necessarily your milk crates or your plastic pallets from Cisco.
You can't have plywood up in there with some Home Depot shelf brackets. You can't do that.
No, can't do that. Okay. Moisture, you got to control it. Got to get rid of it. Cannot have it. Standing water and high humidity. Check for leaks and cracks in the walls to prevent water coming from outside. And make sure all temperature controls are set properly to what humidity building in your storage areas. Aside from your plumbing and your coolers we just covered, and your dish pit, your hot line, where could there be another source of moisture coming into your building? Where can moisture come into your building from the outside?
Air conditioning.
Yeah. Which is where? Who?
The vents. Maybe like a bad seal on a window.
Yeah.
Or like cracks in the foundation or something.
Right.
Roof.
Sure.
You buy an old establishment. Remember Daniel from Barbecue? That building had been there for a while. Maybe you move into an old building and you don't know the structure of the building, just like when you buy a house, you can have it inspected. But if the room if it's in the summertime or when there's no rain in the forecast, you don't know what the roof holds. So let's say you invest in it, you move in, you start your business, and now you get storms running through, and now you got a leak coming through the roof into the ceiling from the ceiling tiles. Now you look up and your ceiling tiles are stained. Now you got a leak coming down next to your fryer later or your grill. No.
Plus, also, Chef, if that ceiling is leaking, that water looks clear, but it's coming through insulation, it's coming over top of ceiling joists, ceiling coverings, and by the time it gets to you, it's been through the poop of every pest and every dead old carcass that's ever been up there. Sounds bad, right? Well, that's probably what you're looking at if you got water coming through your roof. Very bad situation. I would almost consider that to be, what do they call those, imminent health hazards, like when your sewer backs up, you cannot operate? Yeah, you got water coming in your kitchen. Woo.
And if it comes to the ceiling, what are the hazards? Sorry, anybody have anything? If it's coming through your ceiling, what are the hazards might be involved? The water is leaking from the roof through the inside of the asbestos, the insulation. What other hazards can you have in that ceiling, roof, wall?
Fiberglass in the insulation.
Electrical.
Electrical.
Right?
All this stuff.
All that stuff goes into consideration. So it's not just about the plumbing under the dish pit, the dishwasher, which, you can have somebody come and fix it. It's not about the drains backing up. It's not about the hand washing sink. It's all that entails. Some of the AC units that has the water condensation pipe going outside, so it doesn't coagulate, doesn't sit, to even natural occurrences, storms, rain, ceiling, roof, everything. So you gotta, when you go into a place, you gotta make sure you look around, top to bottom. Make sure the ceilings are not stained, because if you see stains on the ceiling, that means there's water leak in the roof. What about cross-contamination? Much like in the kitchen, there are certain food products that need to be kept far away from others to prevent health and contamination issues. Check out the guidelines provided with every item you store to make sure you know how to and where it can be stored, what foods it can be kept next to, and what foods it cannot avoid germs or odors spreading around it. Also try to keep everything on NSF shelving to ensure possible contaminants are kept in their place and all products are fresh and possible. Okay. Cross-contamination. Nowadays, you're going to go into, you probably cannot even have cardboard in your kitchen. Everything that comes in, you're going to have to break it down, maybe outside, put it in a clean container, and then bring it in, wash your hands, and don't bring whatever it's contaminated with into your back dock, into your kitchen. So cross-contamination is big, okay? Guys, it is 8:20. Let's take our due diligent break. We're going to come back. I hope you guys are quiet enough to be working on your menus. I hope.
Yeah.
All right. All right. 8:20. Hey, what time is it, Chef Gary? 8:25?
It's 22 right now, so how about 32?
All right, 8:32. Let's take up a 10-minute break.
Chef, when we get done at 9:30, I probably have to pull out pretty quick because Chef Pablo is going to send me a Zoom invite because we got an assignment to start working immediately on buying lists for the student packages for the class we're going to teach.
Okay.
And also equipment needs, and Robin wants that stuff tomorrow morning.
You got it.
So, I mean, I can stick around a couple minutes, but depending upon what time. I told Chef Pablo sometime after 9:30, not too tight. I said, give me.
Any thoughts? Any questions? How's your project coming along?
I like my menu. My menu make me want to eat something every time I read it.
It should.
I like it.
So, Mercedes, you were saying, what about your project?
You got a question about the menu. Do we have to put sauces, like, do we explain our sauces on the menu?
I think you should. You don't have to make you don't have to write a textbook, but I think
explanation.
Should be able to understand what you're offering. If you just say grilled steak with sauce, not exciting, right?
Yeah, I don't want to eat that. I don't even know what the sauce is. Okay, and, are we doing drinks or no? Like wine?
It's up to you. How far you want to go on the menu. I'm only asking for 5, 5, and 5.
Just 5. We only need 5 what?
5 starters, 5 mains, 5 entrees. 5 desserts. Yeah. So 5 starters, 5 mains, 5 desserts.
Well, I got mine, so I'm all right. I just need to find a creative menu artwork. I'm not finding them good on Microsoft. I'm not finding a good background, so I think I got to make my own or steal somebody's. Not steal, borrow.
Did you look at those websites that Chef Miguel shared for last night?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I need to look at those.
Menu software? Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't here last night.
Well, you can go back and go back and watch the thing too, but certainly there's something called Canva, C-A-N-V-A.
I can type it on my phone.
And it's the site you can get on and start an account, and then when you create work, you come back and it'll be there, like any other account.
Okay, it's basically like Pinterest for food, I guess.
For menus, yeah.
It's a development tool for menus and sales documents and stuff like that. Graphics, formatting, colors.
So if you want to have a flambe station at your restaurant, this is an SOP, how to set it up, what you need, s'mores, when to be ready by, okay? And also picture how it's probably set up. SOPs, guys. SOPs. Just thought I'd share that with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, she was smiling. Anyways.
Cam, you see that chat from Aubrey?
Yeah, I seen Mercedes too. I've been on hosting my wall, but I've been on that one before.
Okay. Well, there's a start.
A big push for your menus. Tomorrow's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You should at least either have it done or be halfway through to your project or your menus. Next week is crunch time. You got to start pricing it out, guys. If you can, start this weekend. Let us know and share. I'll be checking in, through here and there. See where you guys are at. You can always reach out to Chef Gary and I, either through text, email. We'll check it once or twice during over the weekend. But tomorrow definitely you should start really heavily going into the menu project as soon as possible. If you have not started, if you have, awesome. Just go ahead and start. Going to those websites and start creating your menu. Look for the logo, the name, the color, the fonts, everything. Okay.
Question. When are the benchmarks due? The benchmark test? The 3rd, right?
Benchmark test?
Not the benchmark. The test we got to take online.
What
the
test?
Checkups.
You talking about the knowledge checks?
Knowledge checks.
Well, there's one of those every week.
They are all open and they're all closed on May 8th.
Okay.
They're all open right now. They're closed on May 8th, all of them. Week 1 through week 6. There's 3 in each week. Take them all as soon as you can. Don't leave them open because I would hate to go and plug in 0 once they close. Probably drop your grade average. Okay. May 8th is when they close.
Okay, Chef.
Mm-hmm.
That's an issue.
Why?
Because those units that I mentioned that are still closed, they're still closed. So if we can't do the reading, make sure that we could guess because we have a couple of temps.
We want to do that. We got to get it open for you.
We got to get it open. I thought they'd be open by now. I'll reach out again to.
No, they're still closed. That's what I was checking just now.
Yeah, I'm gonna send an email tonight, and I will go ahead and try to either text or call Chef Robin tomorrow morning and try to get them open for you guys. Okay.
Thanks for telling us that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chef.
But they don't close until the 8th, so you still got time. Once, hopefully they're open. Okay. Any comments, questions, concerns, issues? Dive into your project. Now's the time. Start banging those menus out. Okay. All right. No questions, no comments, concerns, issues. We'll be talking about front of the house tomorrow. If that's it, then see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. We'll hang for a few minutes. You guys have any questions? Other than that, see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, chefs.
Take care.